Hello and welcome to CG Rated Books. It's a beautiful day. It's late in the afternoon. It's almost evening. I just wanted to take an opportunity on this Tag Tuesday to respond to our first tag invitation. We received a invitation to perform a BookTube tab started by Kevin Toll, and from Kevin Toll Reads, and it's in reference to books that we believe should be adapted into a television or big screen film. And I thought it was pretty interesting. Now Kevin had about 9 books that he thought would make a good entry. I'm only going to deal with 2, and it's kind of a cheat for me, actually. I'm kind of cheating because I just did videos on these books. Are literally on the tip of my tongue because I had just got finished talking about them. One of them actually doesn't really deserve it, but I'm going to argue my point and hope that hope that you'll agree with me. We're going to start with that one. We'll start with that one. This book was The Blackbird House, written by Alice Hoffman. Now, the strangest thing about this story, I did not like the book, but the idea and the premise, in the right presentation is, it's kind of hard to really mess that up, in my opinion, if done right. Now, not only do I think that this should be adapted into a movie, but I think done by a specific writer or director. So here's let me give you a brief synopsis of the story. Basically, the premise for the book is an interconnected narratives of more than a dozen men and women that occupied this old Massachusetts house over the span of 200 years. The story initially gives the premise that it is about the people and how their interaction transforms them through love relations and interactions, and it's also done over a span of 200 years. So there's a civil war that happens. There's quite a bit of things that happen, but it's all focused about these actions that are happening in and around the actual farmhouse. It's an old farmhouse, a Massachusetts farm home, and over the course of 200 years, what I would like to see is the home, the actual home itself, as a part of, maybe even as an actual main character, almost actually a part of the interactions of these people, men and women, love relationships, relatives, friends of the relatives, occupants, people have occupied the home. I would like to see the home have some sort of character or some sort of life or some sort of interference with the smooth operation of what you would think. What do you think? A house, right? A house. You walk into a house, you unlock the door, you walk in, you go sit down, you watch TV, you take a shower, you go to bed, you get up the next morning, you have coffee, and you leave. But what if the home had problems? And those problems almost seem to have personality. And those problems would lead to the individual having to endure certain incidences and problems that actually creates growth or maturity in the suspected main character. But then it wouldn't be the main character because they'd leave and somebody else comes in, and then now the home is now becoming a part of that person's life and influencing that person's life in a certain way. And you're watching the individual develop and grow, work through these specific issues, but it's written in such a way where it seems like the home is almost doing it on purpose. This is, I would love to see this, let's say, in the hands of the Coen brothers. Have you seen The Lady Killers? What if the individual characters in the movie were just as elaborate, just as fantastical as, you know, what the Coen brothers do with guys like the Lady Killers? That, to me, would be awesome, because you have all these strange characters and all these weird things happening on in the house, and then it goes off, it closes, the only thing that remains constant through this 200 years worth of transition, the only thing that remains constant is the house. We always come back to the house. I would love to see this played out by some really good actors that literally fall victim to a home just being a home. And I really think that would really, I don't know how else to express it, but I think that it would be really, really, really cool. So this is the Blackbird House. Now, the Blackbird House is it's an interesting story enough, but the way that it was written, it almost felt like it could have been done, the way that it was done, it would have been better in bullets. You know, like the work page, brainstorming for, you know, to begin how to write the novel, and then just left at that. I really wish that it was more in depth. I really wish that there was so much going on. There's nobody to connect to, not even the house. The house, it was just there. You know, take this concept. What about even if it's just a murderous plot? Let's take this idea, this concept, into a knife. Strange enough, a knife over the course of 20, 30, 40, 60 years doing the same thing, ending up in one person's hands, and that person doing something with it, and ending up in another person's hands, or in a storage box someplace that led to something else, and it just unravels and unfolds. And even though you know, there's lots going on, the only thing that remains constant throughout the whole story is the knife. Knife keeps popping up, knife keeps showing up, whatever it is. And then, of course, closing it off with some weird little twist or some weird little ending at the end. Doesn't that sound intriguing? To me, that this here's what really gets me, and here's what really drew me to this book in the first place, was the power of storytelling. That's what really gets me into books, as the power of storytelling. If we realize just how powerful that is, and just how influential the ability to tell a good story, and we get a few old folks that are out there that can do some great monologuing, that do some really great portrayals. M. Night Shyamalan's a great storyteller. What's his name? The weird guy who did Pulp Fiction. Why am I losing his name all of a sudden? Listen to Matthew McConaughey doing his monologuing. You find the right person that can captivate you. Even Spade, they can capture you in just the way that they express something, and then take that and center it around something inanimate. It doesn't even have any control. It can't control where it goes. It can't control what it does. And yet, no matter what, no matter who's involved, no matter what's going on, no matter what time of season, it finds a way to become a part of the story. That would be very interesting to me. I would love to see it. I loved the Lady Killers. Story was told very, so a lot of moving parts, a lot of strange characters, a lot of tangents that were going on, and it was that basement, right? That basement where they were was a huge part of the story. It was a huge part of the story. The basement by itself almost felt like it was one of the characters. All the problems that they were going through down in that basement. So yes, so the first one I have is The Blackbird House by Alice Hoffman. I would love to see that one be adapted into an actual movie. And I think the only thing, this next one, I really don't care if it be a movie or a TV adaptation. The second book I want to bring up is, of course, Grimoire Noir. That is the graphic novel. I just did a review on it. Outstanding story. But I think we don't have enough really great and really artistic adult movies or adult cartoons. There's been a few of them out there over the years. One of them, it's a Netflix original. It's called Arcane. Really great story, really great art. It's part CGI, part artistic drawing. Would love to see something like that. Now, the Grimoire Noir story doesn't need to be touched. It doesn't need to be altered. Doesn't need somebody else coming in and rewriting it. It would just fascinate me to be able to see it in motion. Full length, 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Give me something big, because even though the story is very captivating, I think what really threw me over the edge with this book was the illustration, was the presentation of the book itself. I don't have it anymore. I actually I turned it in. I'm gonna buy a copy of this book. But Grimoire Noir by Vera Green Tea, illustrated by Jana Bogic, would be my second choice, right? Now, first choice, The Blackbird House, rewritten, of course, reapproached. Same concept, same idea. I don't really, honestly, if it is an old Massachusetts farmhouse, that's fine. But slightly rewritten with more intrinsical characters and more of the home itself being involved with the development of these characters. Somebody falling down the stairs, somebody getting locked in the room, just whatever it is. The Blackbird House, with the home being the main protagonist, antagonist. Maybe the home is the villain, right? That would be right. And then to end the home, to end the story with the home being vacant, the home being abandoned, and zooming out at the very end, the last characters that have survived or passed away or moved on, home's completely abandoned. You're zooming out, and there is a mystery left, even though all the stuff that went on in the home, and you're panning away and you're zooming away and we're departing from the scene, and there is this air and feeling that even though we just watched the whole thing, there's things about this house that we missed even still, right? That there's still a mystery, that the home was abandoned, that nobody knows about the 4 dead bodies buried in the background, panning out, and then the home standing there being described as having its chest out, still standing. The war came, the war left, and I'm still here, you know, and just panning away, and then just fade to black, right? And you're sitting in the room, you know, waiting for the lights to come on, and your heart is just, that was, what in the world, right? They ever going to go back to the house? Are they going to destroy the house, or is it going to get knocked down? What's going to happen? I wonder where that house is. I wonder if it really exists. I want to be able to walk down that main driveway and come upon this house and know I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to check out the attic. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go down to the basement. I got to check out that table down there. And then to have that feeling of that home just being left there as if it really, really, really existed. The home itself existed. It had its own personality. It has its own lifestyle. It's got its own stories to tell. And even though we're ending the story, there's still more to tell. Why? Because the house is still standing, right? To me, I think that would make for an awesome movie. Now that would 2.5, 3-hour movie. That, I mean, literally just go all out. 200 years worth of history just panning out. And the only thing, we get a chance to watch several scenes of these people interacting with each other. You know, this guy, you know, perfect marriage, you know, she passes away, and then he remarries, and exact opposite, right? You know, whatever. And then he passes, they leave, and then somebody else comes in. That, oh my gosh, I think that would really, to let the home have history and have an attitude about that history, right? I think that would be awesome. And then option number 2 is the grimoire noir tale. That, I don't know if you guys got a chance to see the show Arcane. Really, 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 really interesting. I'm waiting for the next season to come up. Oh, totally in depth. Now it is a revisited story, the Arcane, but in the same line. And I would want grimoire noir to be a graphic novel movie. Now, we've done things similar to this, you know, Max Payne with Wahlberg in it, Sin City with Bruce Willis in it. These were CGI, you know, generated movies with that comic book noir flair to them. Really, this grimoire noir definitely had that dark, sinister detective, you know, feel to it. And I really would love to be able to see Yana Bogech work with a team and create a cinematic review for this. I mean, if you have not, and it's kind of funny because I was really, really emotional, really, really, really excited about this book. And so when I did the actual book review, it's just me, you know, blowing smoke up your butt about how great this book is. And I was all over the map, but trying to give this review. But check it out. And I don't have the book now, but I had it for the review. And I didn't want to tell too much of the story, but I got a chance to show you pictures and show you the illustrations in that. And I really hope that you get a chance to actually look at that video and see what I was saying to, and I'm referring to, and I'm talking about. This would make don't turn it into a live action film unless you can do it the same way cinematically. Give it that same look and the same feel. The characters were amazing. You can look at, you don't have to have somebody narrating with you to try and tell you what that individual's character was, or you know what their morality was, or how. You can literally look at the image, you can look at read the dialogue, and you can actually make those conclusions for yourself, and you can connect with each of the different characters. There was no blending of characters. There wasn't, oh yeah, well, this person and this person were pretty much the same character. They were just in two different, no. They stood out, and the artwork was just, that's what really, the story was great. The storytelling was good as well. But the artistic value really pushed it over the edge. And I don't really feel like there's enough of those in film. So those are my two options. I am going to thank Kevin for inviting me into this tag. And I'm going to list, there's a long list of tags in here. I'm going to tag each and every, so anybody who does want to participate can actually see my participation as well. So I'm going to tag Kevin, but I'm also going to tag the individuals that he tagged for this. I am going to have to take some time to find out who to tag in return. So I apologize that I'm not able to announce. I didn't look at my subscription list to see who I would be interested on hearing from this one. A couple of guys that I like to listen to have been gone for about a month or two now. I don't know if they're going to be returning or when they're going to be returning, and I don't want to lose this tag or whatever because they may or may not come back at such a later time. So I want to take some time. I'm going to look up down my friends list and identify somebody to tag, and I'll just include them in the video. If I do, I may just include a short announcement towards the end who I'm going to tag. But anyway, I want to thank you, Kevin. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and guys, keep reading. Okay, hey, I found some folks to tag in this tag that I'm working on. The Kill Copaker over at Shelf Esteem, I'm tagging him into film production. He's a good pick. And then of course Joe and Mary over at Bookbuds. They've done some tags. I've followed up on one of their tags before. I've got a chance to at least speak with them. Still trying to develop some closer interactions with the BookTube community. But those are my choices for tags for this particular tag. Books that should be adapted into movies or television, right? So Nikhil and Joe and Mary, Shelf Esteem and Bookbuds. I hope you guys participate. If you do, great. Let me know. Thank you. Bye.